It was in 2004, Mr. Mayor, that you decided to run for city council. In 2004, you didn't win that office, but
Heck no.
What you decided to do, though, was run for mayor in 2010. 6 years transpired. In that six years, you must have learned a few things, obviously.
Absolutely. So when I moved back to Calgary in 2001, I had two real passions. The first was cities, making cities work better, and particularly making this city work better. The other was getting people more involved in their community, especially young people. And what I learned very quickly when I moved back is that it's relatively easy to get people involved in their community, to volunteer with a nonprofit organization and so on. Later, when I was a professor, I saw the research and it really bears that out. Right. Number one reason people don't volunteer is because nobody asked me to. But what I also learned is that it's really difficult to get people involved in politics. You know, people are cynical. They don't think that government really represents them or does stuff for them. Mm-hmm. And so back in 2004, I decided that we need a campaign to get a bunch of young people to volunteer, to actually work on a political campaign, to see what it's like to get the political bug. And I drew the short straw.
That's all right.
It was a fun campaign. We had no idea what we were doing. Yeah. But it was all a bunch of people who'd never worked on a campaign before. And since then, a lot of those people have continued to be involved politically, and that was really my goal. And over those next 6 years, I continued to do more work, particularly as an academic at Mount Royal University, around how can cities work better and how can people be more involved in their community. And in the end, I kept trying to convince people to run. I kept trying to convince them to run. And I kept striking out. I struck out all the time. I especially struck out with young women. Now, I'm used to striking out with young women, but this was different. Sure. Right? This was different because people were saying, especially women, politics is not for me. It's too adversarial. People are just in it for themselves. People say really mean things about you on the internet. When you screw up, it ends up on the front page of the newspaper. Or I've got young kids, or I want to start a family, and that kind of life is just not compatible with my life.
But that was quite a step for you, though. When you decided, was there part of you that said, you know what? What am I doing? What am I doing running for mayor? I mean,
oh gosh,
let's do the city council thing again. Was there part of you that thought,
well? So, you know, what had happened was all these people kept saying to me, forget about it. Yeah. And I kept saying, look, it can be better. Politics can be better. Government can be better. We got to get better people in there. And enough people just said to me, look, put your money where your mouth is. You've talked about this for so long. Prove it. Mm-hmm. And that's really where it ended up. So we had a big debate. Should I run at all? Should I run for alderman? Should I run for mayor? It took me months to make up my mind. And what I decided at the end of the day was that the vision that I try to hold for the city was big enough that it had to be from the mayor's chair. You know, I have 14 aldermen who do fantastic work, and they do important work. But I'm the one who has a real privilege, a real gift, that I get to talk about the whole city. And I've been given and entrusted with that ability to talk about the whole city and where we're going as a community. And so that was the right fit for me, and luckily voters agreed.